I think I have more failures than I can count as wins, bro, to be honest. And I think that's also what has allowed me to succeed. Trying to grow too fast, I think, was a failure that we hit.
Guys, today I'm here with Enrique Medellin, a good friend of mine from the South Bay. South Bay as in the Bay Area, Santa Clara, San Jose. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Wilson, man. It's an honor to be on, man. You know, you and I have been connected over the last few years, and you were a guest on my podcast at one time. And like, so circling back, being able to be a guest on yours is awesome, man. Thank you for having me.
What's amazing is time flies, and this is almost like yesterday that I drove down to San Jose to have that conversation with you. So I just want to express gratitude that you're doing this again, and we're doing this again. And I'm sure there's a lot of value you can add for agents out there that are either starting or aspiring to be a team leader, leading other agents like you are right now. So maybe we can start with your journey. You know, give everyone that 1 to 2 minute. Who is Enrique? How did he get where he is? And I guess your last year, 2022.
Yeah, man. Shoot, journey. When you say journey, it's been a long time, bro. I'm on my 19th year now being in real estate. So I say that and it sounds funny. And I even say that to people and they're like, well, when did you start? When you were 10 years old? And I'm like, yeah, pretty much. Started when I was 20 years old. I'm 39 now. I'll be 40 later on this year. So approaching that 20-year mark in the biz, dude, and it's been a freaking roller coaster that sometimes I wanted to get off of, and sometimes I just want to put my hands up and ride it and let it go. But it's been an awesome journey. So to give you the short and sweet, man, I've gotten the business around end of 2003, 2004, and I got into real estate. I was in banking. I was going to college, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I got an opportunity to start in the mortgage field, and it was an entry-level mortgage position. And they really would take people that just had some sales skills, and they would teach you everything, man. So it was like the boot camp, AmeriQuest Mortgage back then. So for people who might know who they are, but essentially you had to go in there and you had to spend 3 hours on the phone prospecting and making a bunch of cold calls and book appointments, and then they would do training. And then in the afternoon, you would go on appointments, and if you didn't have appointments, you would spend a couple hours again prospecting. And I did that for my first year and just really learned a lot about myself, really gained some confidence in my abilities and my sales skills. And from there, I kind of fell in love with the whole sales aspect, with being on commission and being able to kind of dictate your own future. And I was decent at it. You know, I was pretty good at it naturally once I kind of got over the nervousness. And from there, it was just like, how do I continue to grow and be better, right? So it was like, get your real estate license, go work for a broker. The broker at the time, you know, I joined his team, and I said, hey, what should I do? And he said, start building a team, start hiring people. And I hired my cousin. He was my first person I hired, and it was just, we were young, and he was in there making calls with me. And little by little, I started kind of finding my way. Started building a team that was, you know, I didn't really know what I was doing, but there was a lot of hustle and a lot of drive. And over the years, just kind of, you know, been through the business. So did mortgages for my first few years. Then the market crashed, which was a total punch in the face back like in the 2008. And it was either like, go try to get a job or figure it out. And I quickly had to figure it out. Like we shifted and went towards foreclosures and helping people save their homes. And I just knew that I never wanted to go work for someone again. I got that taste of being an entrepreneur, being my own boss. And I was like, I'm going to figure it out, whatever it takes. So fast forward to today, I run the real estate team right now. There's about 35 agents on our team, probably got about 8 staff members. And it's just been a constant journey of how do I just keep getting better and better and elevate my game over the years, you know. And last year, our production, we did a little bit over 200 million in sales, which was, you know, one of our best years so far, even though the market, you know, has kind of taken a turn in the last 6 months. And we're at a point now where, you know, we're just looking to find the right people who want to partner with us. We're looking to create that environment where agents can thrive and prosper. And we're looking to pour into the, you know, our partners right now and make sure that we can help them succeed, you know, at a high level. And yeah, I'm a little long-winded, man, but that's my story. There's a lot of things that have happened in between.
It's great. I think people need that context from that early journey, early part of your journey being more so in the lending part of real estate, to your transition to not taking, not quitting, right? Staying within the industry, tasting that you can lead yourself without having, someone else that's a boss giving you a W-2. That's a totally different animal, right? Maybe we can jump to one of the questions I usually ask closer towards the end is throughout that, I don't know how many years or it doesn't matter, right? You went through a lot, you've learned, you've grown, and now you lead a team. What would you consider as one of, a notable fail, and how'd you overcome it? Because I think everyone sees the end product right now, the Enrique online that is leading a 30-plus agent team with multiple staff members. But what they don't see is part of that journey. I'm sure you hit some troughs along the way. Tell us maybe one of them.
Man, failures. I think I have more failures than I can count as wins, bro, to be honest. And I think that's also what has allowed me to succeed. Let's see, a notable one, a notable failure. I think trying to grow too fast, I think was a failure that we hit, a few years back, where it was just all about scale and add more agents and hurry up and try to, get to a certain number. And it worked in two ways. I got caught up in like just trying to build and grow because I needed a new sense of motivation. I've always been the type of person where if things are going great, I get bored, and if I'm not pushing myself to like a next level or trying to reach for a new goal or working on a new project, I get complacent, and I think that's, a gift and a curse. But I think what happened was we started adding a bunch of agents, we started adding more lead sources, and we started really just trying to push numbers. And what I lost sight of, for a little while was just continuing to, cultivate and, the best environment possible for my group, and also continuing to keep those relationships close. Those people that were with us, that were putting in the time and energy. It became hard because when you add a bunch of agents to your team, then you don't have a lot of one-on-one time no more, and that's the problem with scaling is as you scale and you grow more agents, you're working on other stuff. You're a little more pulled out of some of the day-to-day. And when that happened, we lost a good amount of agents that were on our team that were with us for a while, and different reasons on why they left. But I think part of it, I'm trying to take ownership for what I could have controlled, and I think it was just not putting enough time and energy to keep those relationships close and continue to align with our vision and their vision and see what they really wanted and how I could help them get there. So that was a big learning lesson, man. A big and it inspired us to like really revamp like what we're doing now. And from that failure, it's made my business and my team even better today.
Love that. Going through that, I think people that have gone through similar, it could be growth personally, growth in business. In this case, it's growth in business. I can relate to that. And hopefully other people that are listening to this, regardless if they're a solo agent that's growing themselves or in a position like you where maybe growing a team and growing in headcount, growing with more people working towards one mission, it's growing pains. It happens. So I appreciate you sharing that. That's the reality of things. As I say, it gets messier. And it gets better, but also it gets messier with more people just naturally. With that, from being in a lender to starting in real estate to now leading a 30 person plus team, maybe it's tied to what do you believe is working for you? What is your superpower? What's the secret sauce to all of this working?
Man, yeah, I remember, we're getting prepped for this conversation, thinking about that question. And immediately what went to my mind was like, oh, it's like, we're good at prospecting or marketing and all this stuff. And I had to kind of pull back and go from like a higher level view and look at my whole journey, and I think my biggest superpower is that I just never gave up, man. I never gave up, even though shit got tough, at a lot of different points in my career, man. I've had so many blessings, right, come from our business and what I've got to experience, but there's been equal amount of challenges. And I think just never giving up and being able to continue to push through the tough times Um, and I think during all these challenges that I've been through, a big question that I would ask myself was, how can I have done better? You know, what could I have done differently? What was in my control? Because it's really easy to point the finger at other people and say, well, this went wrong because of them or because of this or because of that or the market. But I always got to go back to, well, what can I control, right? I can control my actions, my intentions, how I show up every day. Did I make those calls? Did I not make the calls? Did I check in with that person? Did I not? And I think, it's just being able to self-reflect and really work on myself. And I've been in, coaching, and I've been in even therapy, and I call that a life coach now. That's kind of what it's turned into. But it's all about just understanding why you are the way you are, why things have happened and what role you played and how you can just get better. So to kind of summarize that, it's like being able to go through the tough times, being able to reflect, and being able to say, you know what, shit happens, let's shake it off, and let's get back on the mission, man, back on the mission and pushing through, and that's really what this is, man. Business, I think, is a never-ending science experiment where you're constantly having to tweak and adjust and reevaluate the formula, and you just keep going, man. And that's really what's worked for me. Just keep going.
I love that. And you sitting here having a conversation with me, you still haven't quit, which people love to see. And people are, for example, myself, I'm an observer from afar. I'm observing your journey online. So I appreciate you. You inspire myself and others. And this conversation obviously is going to inspire some other people too. And you said a lot of things that resonate with me personally. So thank you for that. Going to maybe a slightly different topic, because let's get into the nitty gritty of the business. Yeah. What would you say are your top 3 lead sources, and maybe highlight one of them? Why are you guys good at that?
Yeah, definitely. So top 3 lead sources. We have a top 2, and then the third one is probably just a mix of other stuff. So getting in touch with people who know, like, and trust us. Our friends, our family, our past clients. What you would call sphere or sphere of influence. That's probably our number one source. And it's because we continue to stay in front of people, with social media and client events and, networking and just, being present and top of mind. Online leads is the second one. We're part of Zillow Flex, and we do some other, paid lead sources, but it's all in the bucket of online leads is what I would call it. And keeps a steady stream of opportunity coming in. And then everything else that probably accounts for, 90% of the business there, split half and half there. And then the other 10% is just the random, someone came on our website, someone referred us, another agent referred us a client or an open house and stuff like that. But it's really sphere of influence and online leads, man, and just trying to get really good at those. Yeah.
Love that. Maybe it's tied to our next question. What's your best advice for a new and or seasoned agent? It could be related to your 90% of where your business comes from, or maybe you can throw us a tangent, something else that you have top of mind of. How can you help others?
Yeah, I think as complicated as real estate can be, or as we can make the business, I think you just got to simplify, man. Simplify to multiply. There was a quote that I heard the other day is, don't be cute, consistent. Stop trying to figure out this new thing. Stop trying to do the latest trend. It's just be consistent. Pick 1 or 2 things that you're going to go all in on. And just how can you get better and better and better at those, And I know you're someone with farming, you do the farming, the door knocking, and you're like the king, man. And you didn't start that way. You just kept getting better and better and better. And those things compound over time. And I think a lot of us, we want to chase the shiny objects, because that realtor's doing it this way, this one's doing it that way. It may not work for you. So I think you got to figure out your personality and what you lend yourself to. What do you enjoy doing? What can you do every day and do it consistent? And then once you establish a baseline, how can I just keep refining and making it better and better and better and better? And if you just do that, man, that's the formula, bro. We make it harder than it is,
So this is my takeaway from what you've said so far. Be consistent. Don't quit. I'm definitely not cute. So the consistency matters. Yeah. So I appreciate you. I appreciate your words of wisdom there, because I totally relate to that. I couldn't help but smile, and I had to hold my laugh because, I mean, figuratively, looking cute or caring a lot about how you look online matters a lot less than being your true self and showing who you are and adding value, which is just being present and sharing with the world what you know. It's that simple. I mean, it's simple, like you said. Thank you for that. Can we talk about maybe what's your best investment you made in 2022? It could be in yourself personally. It could be in your business. It could be something you actually invested in. Tell us a little more.
Yeah, best investment was into training. And it's twofold, into investing into training myself, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that, and investing into training my agents. So coming into 2022, we doubled down on training. My business partner, I have a business partner, Jason Palomino, shout out to him, those of you guys that follow us, but him and I invested into a leadership course where it was 4 hours a month. It was we would meet up for 4 hours with 10 or 15 other team leaders, and it was led by a really high level team leader, someone from a team that's doing 700 plus million in volume. And it was just all about leadership, man. It was all about like how to show up as a better leader, how to talk to your agents, how to drive productivity. It was the nitty gritty of like how to have the actual conversations when someone's not producing, or how to frame certain things, and it was we took it really serious and we looked forward to it, and we just got to work, man, and we just started implementing, so it was just training ourselves on how to be better leaders in our organization, and all the different things that come with that. And then the other thing was just pouring training into our agents. So we went from doing training once a week to now we're doing training 4 times a week, and there's 4 different training things that we do every single week. And from basic, skills to a sales and accountability meeting, to scripts and dialogues, and to a higher level, marketing and stuff like that, and a higher level business building thing. And it's just creating that environment where we're driving accountability, we're teaching skills, and our agents can now go out there and be that much more valuable to their friends, their family, their clients, what I mean? So training was by far the best investment that I've made in 2022. And we're just continuing to build off of that, man.
I can see how that compounds, because you improve, your people are improving. When you improve, you transfer that skill. So thank you so much for sharing that. If I could ask, and if you could share, even if it's a vague number, how much you spend on training, whether it's yourself or your people, because I think people need to hear that it's an ongoing thing that needs to happen. It's not just I signed up for one class 1 year and call it a day.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that training course, that leadership course that we did last year, it was over the whole course of a year. We spent like 30K on that, so, but to me, that gave me instant access to someone that is doing 3 or 4 times the production. If we're doing 200 million and they're doing 700 million, there's some things that they're doing that we need to aspire to, that we need to figure out, right? And the problems that you're going to have when you're trying to get to your first 10 million or to your first 100 million, they're different problems. They're different issues, right? So you need to get training that's going to be relevant to where you want to go, right? So to me, investing 30 grand into a training thing, that's going to help me 3 or 4x our business at this stage of the game is a drop in the bucket, man. Because you can quickly do the math, and like if I could even just 2x, or if that training is going to help me retain more agents, or if it's going to help me, grow my agents' productivity, like it's hard to put a number on that, So we're spending that kind of money. I mean, we've always been in coaching. It's just different. So now I'm looking for what's my next coaching thing that I'm going to do, right? What do I need right now? What's the theme of this year? What do I need to invest in?
I think that's the key to your success, brother. You keep looking for ways to grow. You're willing to spend the money to learn. And that's why you inspire, because I don't know what your goal is next year. Maybe you can share that with us. What are you excited about for 2023 and moving forward?
You know what? 2023, we looked at our goals, as far as numbers, like I think the mistake that we've made in the past was just trying to base our goal off a production number. because there's different ways to measure success. You know what I mean? It's not just about how many homes you sell. At a certain point where you get to, you're selling hundreds of homes, like, all right, if you sold 200 homes or 400 homes, like it doesn't really mean much anymore. You know what I mean? So we didn't set a crazy lofty goal. We're trying to break like 250 million, go from like 200 to 250. We're factoring in, agents that we've lost, agents that we've gained. We're factoring in market conditions. And if we can, increase our production by 25 or 30%, like that's phenomenal. You know what I mean? Like, and you could do that consistently year over year. It's great, so it's not nothing lofty. But what I'm more focused on besides the production goal is just improving the quality of all of our systems and processes. So we're really focused on getting better. I met with someone that's outside of our industry that works with like 30-40 million dollar annual income companies, right? Companies that are bringing in that type of money, right? And I told him what we were doing, and he's like, man, it sounds like you got a great thing, but like, how can you just do it better? Like, break every piece of your business down, and how can you do it better? How can we recruit better? How can we onboard better? How can we train better? How can we give our clients better service? Breaking down all the pieces of our business. How can we operate the business better? How can we run our finances better? So that's really what we're focused on. That's what I'm excited about, is we're just going back and we're just refining everything that we're doing right now. And I know that that's going to be a good investment, because that's going to lead to a bunch of growth in the future.
Love that. That reminds me, I'm going to take some notes. Which systems can we improve?
Yeah.
And we have to revisit that, it sounds like, every so often, right?
Yeah, if you're not asking yourself that question every quarter or every 6 months or at least once a year, like, hey, it's great, we did this. Now, how can I make myself better? How can I make the systems better? Then you're kind of being a little arrogant, right? You're assuming that what you did before is going to continue to work. And what we know is that things are always changing, bro. Like, the way the business is done, there's fundamentals, but there's all these nuances that are changing, right? Like how people are choosing their agent, what's important to clients, right? With the market changing, that changes how people look at the whole real estate landscape. How do we adapt to that, right? So you got to constantly be steering the ship, reevaluating and making sure you're constantly improving, becoming more efficient. And that leads to your overall growth and success, in my opinion.
How can people find you? I'm sure people are going to have follow-up questions, or people want to see your day-to-day as you go through, the rest of this year and the next phase in your growth for your team.
Yeah, for sure. Social media, I'm pretty much on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Started doing TikTok now. Just posted some of my stuff on TikTok. But at the Enrique Medellin, you'll find me there. So if you just type in my name, the Enrique Medellin, you'll find me on any of those. And yeah, that's the best way to get in touch with me, man. Send me a DM. I also offer free coaching calls, free one-on-ones, man. It's just part of my long-term business plan to give value to people, not with the intention of like, hey, you got to join my team or anything, but I just know if I give more value, things come, right? Like, meetenrique.com. That takes you to book a link on my calendar, and I can sit with you for, do a Zoom for 15-20 minutes, and I can just give you some wisdom, man. If that helps you, all good, man. Like the world pays it back. Right?
If this was live, you just got 20 new emails.
There you go, man.
People booking your time. Appreciate your time. This is helpful. Any parting words, anything we missed, you feel?
Don't quit, man. Don't quit. And I think real estate becomes as hard as we make it, right? Like, so if you're struggling, do some self-reflection, man. Like, I think the biggest reward you can give to yourself is to work on yourself, right? To do some reflecting, to spend some time writing, journaling, asking yourself those hard questions that we tend to avoid. How am I showing up in the different areas of my life? Business, personal, my finances, my health, all those different things, my relationships, and take some accountability, right? Because when you start looking inward, that's the first step to you making things better. right? And if it's your business, if you're struggling in your business, like really ask yourself, like, why am I struggling? Am I not showing up? When you start there, man, then you can figure it out, right? But if you're not even looking at that and you're just going the same way you've been doing it, man, and you're not gonna succeed. You're not gonna grow, man. So that's my parting words.
Thank you so much, man. It's been helpful. Take
Thank
care.
you, man. Talk soon.